Okay, this is a follow-up to the little haunted house story that my mother told for Strange Happenings. She got some of that out there. There's a few add-ons that I'll add to it from my end anyway. She mentioned about that one thing that scared me. It was probably a night terror more than anything else. But do remember being in the top bunk bed in that little sunroom she was talking about. I was in the top bunk. There was like a plate glass, not plate glass, it was like louver glass for a window there. And looking out the window at night, what I saw was some kind of little 3 or 4 foot humanoid being covered in like brown fur and glowing red eyes. The thing is, the house was a little bit off the ground, and I was on the top bunk bed, and I was about eye to eye with it, so I don't guess it was touching the ground. So it was probably just a night terror, but it did scare me enough that I got my parents up and made them go look for footprints and that sort of thing. So I still remember that real vividly. This humanoid covered in brown fur with glowing red eyes looking through the window at me. And so that made an impression, but like I said, probably a night terror. In that same room is when I first started doing the astral traveling thing. When we were really young tots, there I would lay in the bottom of the bunk bed and see the springs up above, and I would just be seeing myself floating up through the springs out above the house, and whatever happened. I didn't know any different, that this was not a normal thing to do, so I just let it happen, and happened often, just floating up through the springs of the bed, up and out. And so I just, you just go with it. Being a little kid, I guess we're a crazy family anyway, so it was always a lot of things happening and a lot of adventures. So it was just more adventure, more just, I guess this is normal, let it happen. Let's just see what happens, kind of thing. And I kept up with the astral travel in the future. Let's see. Also, one Christmas, I have a memory. My parents don't remember this, and it could be a hallucination from my end. I was really sick. I forget if I had the chicken pox or mumps or something like that, but I was really sick for that Christmas. And I remember getting up, and nobody else was awake, going into the little living room area and seeing a train set putting itself together on the kitchen table, parts floating in the air, putting themselves together. I also saw apples and oranges floating across the room and putting themselves in little stacks, kind of by the little fake fireplace over there. And I do remember that. Then I went back to bed. Waking up the next morning, coming in, and there's the train track put together on the kitchen table and the oranges there by the fireplace. If this memory is correct, I remember my parents being concerned, and they admitted they bought the little train set, but they said they did not put it together, and they don't know where the apples and oranges came from at all, but they were there. And I don't know if I was kind of hearing it in their head or not, or if they said this out loud to me. I don't think they would have said it out loud, but that's when I knew. They told me there wasn't a Santa Claus, but from my end, I don't really know after seeing things floating across the room, putting themselves together, and apples and oranges appearing. So who knows? Santa, go the way? I don't know. It's fun to think about, though. So that's kind of crazy fun. And let's see. Also, I had an imaginary friend. I still don't know if that imaginary friend was real or not. His name was Matthias. I remember going over to Matthias's house and eating with him at a long picnic table, kind of a table, like a little picnic table, a big picnic table where all the family could get around. And I remember eating there with him. But apparently his name was Matthias. And sometimes my mom will say he's real, and then other times I ask, she says he was imaginary. So it goes both ways. When I ask my mom, it's just one time it's this way, and the next time it's the other way. So for that, I'm not sure. But I do remember having some kind of friend named Matthias way back when. Also, there are some other odd things that were going on. One thing that Mom did not mention, and she didn't want to mention on camera, she talked to me about it afterwards, and I already knew this, but she talked to me afterwards about it. It kind of upsets her a little bit, but after we moved out of the house, another couple moved in, and they had a young boy about my age that moved into that same sunroom that me and my brother stayed in. And unfortunately, I guess they couldn't handle what was happening in the house, or he couldn't, and he kind of went insane, and they had to have him committed. And so she feels bad about that. That we were able to deal with whatever was happening at that house, but they weren't, and he didn't handle it so well. So my best advice to strange happenings people that all these weird things happen to, like me, is what I do is I just take another step forward, just go day to day, and just move forward, and just keep walking, keep moving forward, and just take the next thing that comes and then just keep moving forward. And that's what I do. So good luck.